What's up guys, Michael here with Valencia Fan TV, bringing you another video about the club we all love, Valencia. Be sure to subscribe for the latest news, match predictions, recaps, as well as anything Valencia related. So I cannot believe guys, we are just under 10 days until the season. Season officially kicks off on Friday, August 11th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be watching probably with a couple beers, and I am extremely excited for this season overall. Probably one of the seasons I'm most excited about in a long time. We have some real youth talent coming through, and there aren't many veterans around to actually block their progression. So I think this can really be an exciting season from the perspective of seeing what our future holds and seeing some players develop before our eyes. I think that when you have young players in there, it's a little bit of an unknown, right? You have the potential that these guys could be world beaters versus when you have some established veterans. You might be a little more secure, but you don't have that upside. So with that being said, before we can get into the 2023 season, let's take a look at the 22 season. It doesn't need to be said that it was a very difficult season for us, and it really was a tale of two halves. We actually started out pretty exciting for the first part of the season. We were scoring goals. Edison Cavani was really hitting his stride, and we were picking up some solid results. I think at one point after like 10 matches or so, I think we were in like 7th or 8th. So we had a pretty good start, and then the World Cup happened and we completely fell apart. Ultimately, we finished just 2 places above the relegation zone, and this is really thankful to some really good late stage results. We could have easily ended up going down, but it wasn't all doom and gloom as we did see some really bright young talent emerge, namely Guerra, Lopez, Mamadashvili, amongst others. One of the standouts of last season was our defense. We were really incredible in defense, and that was kind of our saving grace. We were actually one of the better teams across La Liga, defensively, and that really helped us avoid the relegation. In 2023, we're absolutely going to need to continue that solid defense if we have any hopes of getting anything out of this season. The off season was a little bit crazy, but nothing actually in comparison to our past few off seasons where we've lost players like Parejo, Guedes, Soler, Rodrigo, just to name a few. Condogba. We've lost so many players over the last few seasons that this season seemed pretty tame in comparison. We lost Musa, of course, for 20 million over to AC Milan. Allegedly, that deal's set to go through in the next couple of days. We've lost Cavani on a free over to Boca Juniors. We've lost key loans like Kluivert, Lino, and Nico Gonzalez, and Mariba. So I guess saying it out loud, it is a little bit crazier than it does seem, but nothing in comparison to the loss of such key players in the previous years. So it seems like we have a little bit of stability going. We did maintain stability at the manager spot by keeping Ruben Baraja. I like actually what Baraja brings as a leadership perspective. He comes with some history of the club. He has that fire, and I think the players really fight for him. He had a bit of a tough start coming into a relegation battle, so I don't think he was able to fully show what he can do. I thought the team actually looked a lot better under Gattuso, particularly in the first half of the season. They were really flying and getting some good results and really being pretty fun to watch. When Baraja came in, it became a lot more practical, and we just sought out those results, which you have to do kind of in a relegation battle. So tough to judge him off that, but we'll have to see some improvement to start the year. Now we'll do a position breakdown for each spot on the roster, and we'll just start at goalkeeper as you always do. And goalkeeper, we have Mamadashvili, and he's probably the bright spot for our club. This might be the only position where I can truly see us being world class at. Left back, that's probably the second position where we have an argument for being world class. Jose Gaya, the man continues to be an absolute icon for Valencia, holding down the position. And I think he's under contract for 3 or 4 more years too, so we have no danger of losing him unless we want to make some big money off a transfer. Vasquez backs him up. I think Vasquez is a very solid player and definitely one for the future. Tony Lato did leave us this season for Mallorca, but I don't think Lato really makes a big impact on the season. I wish him the best of luck moving forward with his career. At center back, Diakabi is the main man. As crazy as that sounds, Diakabi was constantly berated over the last few years, but he's really improved, and I want to give the man full props. We have Senk, Paulista, and the youngsters essentially holding down the fort from there. It can be anybody in combination with Diakabi starting from week to week. We'll have to see how the season plays out and who stays in good form. I think we are a man short there. I think we do need to add one person as a center back who actually has some veteran experience that could really help our defense moving forward. In the right back, we have Correa. I actually have Correa as a really solid player. I think that he's promising. I think he's fast, explosive. And I think he can take on defenders. And I think he's a pretty solid player for us at right back. As of now, we have Folkier as the backup. I think he's actually being rumored to leave Valencia. But for right now, we do maintain his services. And I think he's a pretty solid backup. Now, the midfield is where it gets tough. I expect, Almeida to be the rock of the midfield. I really had him as one of the players of the season last year. He's creative, he can score goals, and really their best player in midfield. From there, we have kind of a four-way battle between Guerra, Papalu, Rasic, and Guilherme, all rotating in and out depending on the matchup. We do have Coendrade as well as kind of a youngster who may get some minutes, and maybe he surprises us. Maybe he picks up more minutes. In the forward position, we're looking really weak. This is definitely our weakest spot of the team. We have, I think the starting lineup of Lopez, Duro, and Sami Castillejo. And a front three, I think Samu is going to be on the right side. I think potentially Duro on the left side and Lopez down the middle. But I think Lopez and Duro could switch places pretty easily, and it could end up being Lopez on the left. On paper, we're really going to struggle to score goals. We struggled last year, and we're even weaker than we were last year, so this is really going to be a weakness for us. We need to reinvest that $20 million from Yunus Musa into a top forward that can actually get us some goals, and that will go a long way for us to getting the results that we need to actually stay up. So what should we look out for in 2023? I think there are several things to really be excited about here. The team is extremely young, and I think they have some great potential. Can Vasquez develop? Can he push out Gaia? It's going to be a tall order for him, but I think seeing him develop is really going to be great. It's going to allow us to maybe potentially move Gaia on and keep Vasquez as his long-term replacement. It's always great to sell these players on as they're approaching 30 for big profits and then allow the youngsters to take their spots. As much as I do love Gaia, that does seem like a sound business plan. I want to see if Mamardashvili can continue his form and improve. Can he truly become one of the top goalkeepers in the league? I think we actually have the strongest league in terms of goalkeepers with Courtois, Oblak, and of course Marc-André ter Stegen. I also want to see how can Javi Guerra do. Can Javi Guerra keep up his hot start from the end of last season? Can Diego Lopez come in? We really need Diego Lopez to kind of up his game, particularly him. If he can come in and score 5 to 10 goals for us this season, that's going to be big, particularly if he can get closer to 10 goals. He really needs to carry some of the scoring load for us. It's a lot to put on a youngster, but this is his moment. Can he come in? Can he kind of fulfill the potential that he has? Be our next, Ferran Torres, be our next David Villa, somebody who can really lead the line for Valencia for a few years before getting his big money move. And then, of course, we have Guilherme. Guilherme, I want to see him return back to his best. He was, at one point, one of the top prospects in Spain. He actually made the World Cup roster, I believe, or the Euros. And he's just had a couple down years since then, or a down year since then. If he can get back to his top level, then I think that Valencia has another great player there. Now, let's take a look at Valencia's opening schedule for the week, for the season. I think we really need to start off on the right foot. As you can see, we have Sevilla to start the season off on Friday. We actually kick it off with another Friday game on the week following with Las Palmas. Then we have Osasuna, Alaves before taking on Atletico Madrid and Almeria. So I think that we really need to get off to a hot start. Of those first 6 games, I think 4 of those are very winnable. And even Sevilla is not the team they once were. I think we can beat Sevilla if we come out and play well. This team will need to be defensively solid this year in order for us to achieve our goals, but I think if we can maintain our defensive solidity and get more creative in the offense and stop conceding those late goals, we can actually really be a good team this year. I think that with that said, I think Valencia is going to be safe this year. I think we're going to finish anywhere really from 12th to 8th. I don't see us pushing on for European football, but I also don't see us facing another season of relegation battles. So let me know what you guys think. As always, Amut Valencia. I can't wait for next Friday's game for Sevilla, and hopefully we can pick up the 3 points. Take care.